Welcome back. For more on our top stories and others, please visit our website channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on your mobile device. Log on to m.channelstv.com or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Having the Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have the eyewitness feature, so you too can be a part of the news. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the eyewitness menu and follow the instructions to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. The federal government has appointed Mrs. Olufemi Fatunde as the Federal Ministry of Justice as the lead prosecutor in the trial of Justice Sylvester Ngwuta, a Supreme Court justice who is standing trial for alleged corruption. At the resumed hearing of the case in Abuja, Mrs. Fatunde announced herself as the new head of the prosecution team following the withdrawal of the former head of the prosecution team, Charles Adiogun Phillips. Shortly after announcing her appearance, she made an oral application seeking an adjournment of the case to enable her to study the file and also interview the witnesses. Lawyer to Justice Ngwuta, Mr. Kanu Agabi, did not oppose the application, and Justice John Soho subsequently adjourned the case to the 16th and 17th of March 2017 for a continuation of the trial. The Benue State government has launched the 100 billion naira education intervention fund for the 2017, 2018 and 2019 academic session as part of efforts to improve the general infrastructural and academic decay in the state. Speaking in Makadi, the Commissioner for Education, Professor Dennis Iyavata, says the government targets mobilizing the 100 billion naira in the next 2 years from 1 million Benue indigents to be enlisted in the crowdfunding platform. Infrastructure in most public primary schools in Benue State are in a state of disrepair, with shattered roofs and collapsed walls now popular sites. These challenges have been attributed to poor or lack of funding, as well as years of neglect. But the current administration is taking steps to fix the problem, seeking alternative modes of funding amidst dwindling federal allocation to the state. It set up the Benue People's Education Project, an online platform for crowdfunding where government hopes to raise capital periodically.
The Benue People's Education Project is the first crowdfunding platform ever set up by the Benue State government to solicit partnership from the local community to develop public education, generate and distribute additional funding up to 100 billion funding gap needed to ultimately provide education to almost 2 million children and youth enrolled at different tiers of learning in the state.
For the 2017-2018 academic session, the government hopes to raise 10 billion naira to augment the ongoing construction of 740 schools across the state.
If we build a whole movement and momentum locally, people that might give us 100 million, 10 million, 50 million might not want to give us the same money next year. But if we have 1 million people giving us 1,000 naira from our state, that's a billion. And if they will be more inclined to give us that same 1,000 next year than people that will give. So we're going after the big money and the small money and the produce and everything. Do something. It's better to do something than not to do anything at all.
This move to engage Benue residents, communities, corporations and international donors to support the rehabilitation of public schools has been welcomed by many. We would also like to see a proper management of funds that would be raised. Staying with education, Governor Mohammed Jibrila of Adamawa State has lamented the poor condition of students' hostels in the state-owned College of Education. Now, the governor made this comment during a visit to the institution where the weekly State Executive Council meeting was held. He also commissioned the newly built e-library within the college.
The hills of Hong provide a warm backdrop for Governor Mohammed Jibrila's visit to the community. management, students of the college, secondary school students, and the people of Hong warmly welcomed the visitor.
I hereby commission this beautiful building for the purpose of managing.
Governor Jibrila first commissioned the college's e-library. He then takes a tour of the facilities in the school and gets to see the hostel, whose construction was started but abandoned by past administrations in the state. This uncompleted hostel now serves as a shelter for some students because of the challenges of accommodation at the institution. At a meeting with staff, Governor Jibrila rejects the living condition of the students.
To this important college, I have seen something that nobody is not acceptable.
In an interview in his office, the provost of the College of Education agrees that it was time the hostel got a facelift.
What's important, actually, number one, is the male hostel. The male hostel should be completed. There is another wing of the female hostel should also be completed. This has a lot of implications for the school. One, most of the students reside outside because of lack of accommodation. It's not good for learning because the students should be domesticated. They should not be stressed in terms of trekking distances to come to the class and then even coming late at times even missing lessons. So it impacts negatively on education, especially for the children.
Established in 1982, academic activities at the college were disrupted by insurgency but have now resumed fully. Hopefully, this visit by the governor will yield a positive result for students and academic work.
Now, participants at the revalidation of the 5,000 teachers whose appointments were cancelled last year by the Akwa Ibom state government have appealed to the state government to ensure that those who genuinely merit the appointments are employed. The teachers made the appeal while speaking to Channels Television at the venue of the screening exercise in Uyo. The rescreening is conducted to fulfill government's promise to give affected teachers the opportunity to defend themselves.
Bring your original.
The affected teachers were assured that they shall be given opportunity to defend their suitability and ability for the teaching job in another round of tests. I wish to inform us that the state government, in keeping with that promise and in keeping with that assurance, has put in place modalities for this exercise and the screening. And very sincerely too, that all the affected persons who succeed in this foolproof screening exercise shall be offered appointment to teach in our public schools.
Well, 400 women and girls have been issued certificates in tailoring, bead making and event decoration after weeks of intensive training in Minna, the Niger State capital. The empowerment scheme was initiated by the wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Oludolapo Osinbajo, and the wife of the Niger State Governor, Dr. Amina Abubakar, and it was designed as part of the poverty eradication measure aimed at reducing women's vulnerability and dependency in all spheres of life.
Skill acquisition program is well thought out to design and inspire our women to acquire skills that have the capacity to improve their economic and social well-being, as well as that of their families and the community at large. Let me assure you that at Raise Foundation, we will continue to collaborate with well-meaning partners to engage the women folk in the state with a view to ensuring that they are gainfully involved in one entrepreneurial skill or another. We at Raise Foundation are passionate about the well-being of women because they represent the most vulnerable groups in our society to please avail themselves. Niger State government has already identified youth and women empowerment as one of its cardinal priority areas. And I can assure you that at Raise Foundation, we will be complementing His Excellency's efforts in ensuring that women and youth get empowered and become gainfully employed on their own.
When news across Nigeria returns, the Kogi State Elders Forum appeal for a speedy completion of the Kogi Steel complex. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.